Hi there, good people. Dane Starkey here, welcoming you to the next installment of the Fox Products Charter series. In the last installment, we looked at sections 7 and 8 of the organization's project charter template. If you recall correctly, those two sections were project key stakeholders and project outcomes. In this module, we'll be taking a look at what a project scope is, as well as why it is so important to quote-unquote get it right. Fundamentally, the scope helps the project team focus on the big picture. We use the scope to define what the project will and will not address. When you're done writing your project scope, you will have clearly explained the extent of what your project is designed to do. You will have answered two very important questions. First, what is to be included in the project, i.e., what's in the scope? And second, what is to be excluded from the project, i.e., what's outside of the project scope. Scoping sharpens the focus of the project team. Also, it establishes right up front the project expectations. Scoping gets your project team aligned and, quote-unquote, on the same page before the project even begins. So why is project scoping so important? The absence of proper scoping may cause the team to 1. Lose interest in the project, 2. Focus on trivial pain areas and miss out on the real ones, and 3. Have false expectations of the project. There are risks of not properly scoping a project. These being, the project can become difficult to implement, and even after implementation, the desired benefits might not be seen, and also the process selected could become too broad to handle. Also, proper scoping provides boundaries. As a result, the team will be more likely to keep their eye on the prize and deliver a project that meets expectations, and less likely to veer off course and chase, quote-unquote, every good idea along the way. Proper scoping also provides clarity and transparency. Before the project even begins, everyone involved with the project, so the project team, the sponsor, the stakeholders, they should all have a clear understanding of what is and is not included in the project and what the potential risk factors are, so the things that could jeopardize the overall success of your project. In the end, a well-defined scope will ensure that everyone knows what to expect going in, and there are no misunderstandings or misconceptions about what the project will actually achieve, and it explains how the team plans to execute. Projects can quickly grow beyond their initial boundaries if you don't carefully control changes to them. It's called scope creep. New objectives and needs sneak up, quote-unquote, on you with no warning. This can lead to the following: an extended project schedule, so you need extra time to explore the new requirements and complete the work. Increased project costs, so more time and additional requirements often mean higher costs, obviously. Decreased overall value, so project stakeholders expect results on time and on budget, and when you don't deliver, they're satisfied and wonder what's going on. So to minimize the risk of scope creep in your projects, you need to take appropriate measures to manage the scope of the project and keep it under your control. Keep the scope small if you can. Here we have a sample project scope that uses the same 4-category format included in our project charter template. In other words, what's in the project scope, what's outside the project scope, risk factors to be aware of, and assumptions and constraints. Let's run through them one by one. We'll be using a familiar example for this: the implementation of an ergonomics program. First, in scope. Right away, this tells you that this particular project focuses on the production team only. The following 5 items are the tactics that will be used in our projects to make the problem better. So job rotation, job hazard analysis, selection of appropriate tools, ergonomics training, and employee input. Second, out of scope. Right away, this tells you that this project will not be focusing on the administrative staff or their workstations in the office. Third category, risk factors. Here we're acknowledging the risks that could threaten the overall success of the project. So staff not being interested in learning a better way to do things, management not adequately prioritizing employee comfort or safety, and lack of adequate funding. Lastly, assumptions and constraints. Here we have listed 4 different assumptions. So we're assuming that employees will understand what's expected of them, that employees will buy in to why ergonomics are important in the first place. We're assuming that management will support the project, and we're going under the assumption that the right staff members have been selected to champion the project. Assuming these items are in place, our project should be primed for success.